So I definitely don't have to report on this, but because I care and I want to, and it makes me laugh, I'm going to definitely do it. Most definitely to all sports people out there, this definitely relates to you. Ever heard of that phrase that says when you start thinking like a fan, or when you start doing what the fans want, or something like that, you'll soon be sitting next to them and stuff like that. You know, there's a real fine line within that phrase. I'm like not even joking, because the fans are what feed you. When it comes to a majority of times, if not all the time, your pockets, your bottom line. Like, the fans are who's coming to that stadium or that arena every week during the season, you know, to support you. So, if anything, you need to and or have to care about what your fans think. Very fine line, because other franchises have proven they don't care what their fans think, but yet their fans are still showing up. You, you know, that's why I say it's definitely a fine line with that phrase, but I can assure you, you need to care what your fan base thinks. You need to care. Because in many cases, without a fan base, you're not making any money. Or if you are, it's a fine line there. You're making limited money. It's like saying, it's like the difference between making $5 and $10 to a certain degree for every ticket or jersey or whatever else sold. You know, and it's just a fine line there. Like, God bless the fans. I'm obviously a fan myself. I believe, I do believe passionately the fans need to have more stake in some of these GMs and or head coaches' decisions of who to draft, who to start, and who to sign. Most definitely. If I were to own a franchise, I can assure you, I would definitely put up a bunch of polls online, voting polls online to say, hey, you want us to get this, like, out of, how many of y'all want us to get this player, get that player, how much money should they get, and etc. Honestly. Now, the money that they should get definitely might not appease certain people, but definitely think about it. The market is there for a reason, and it just says that you get an opinion. Is one of the top things I have to let everybody know there. Those polls are not saying that just because you say you want us to get this person, we're going to get them. It just means you have an opinion on who we do get. But it doesn't mean that you have the final say-so on who we get. But most definitely, the fans decide a lot, if not everything, when it comes to your bottom line, when it comes to your pockets. Which supposedly, again, the pockets, a lot of people have negatively let money rule them and run them to where they are a negative slave to the money, to where, like I said before, you have all of what you have over and over and over again with certain people doing certain things which they do. Honestly, I think there's a fine line with that too. Might not be. I just definitely know that's a topic for probably another video. But I can assure you, because just for my franchise, I know how I would run it. I want fans to tell, give me advice on who I should choose and why. Because if anything, the fans are what fills my pockets up with money. Without them, how else am I getting my hard-earned money? Huh? Think about it. And again, that's really a 2 plus 2 equation if you were to think about it. But most definitely, you need to care about what your fans think. I'm not saying that they have that they decide the final verdict. I'm not saying that, but I'm definitely saying letting your fans have their opinion, and not only, because again, a lot of us voice it already on social media, but I'm saying if you set up voting polls, I think that would be a tad bit just that much more constructive and speak to, again, a larger demographic of this is, yeah, we do care about our fans. This is how much we care about them. We want them to, implement their, opinion on this voting poll of, yes, who we should get and possibly how much we should pay them and stuff like that, and possibly how many years. Again, not everybody is probably going to like a system like that, but it's definitely something to definitely consider. I know for me personally, I'm all up for it. I want the fans to be happy. I want everybody to be happy, but also want to, constructively cater to God first everybody as God first constructively as I God first can, and I love the fans. I love people. So let's continuously learn, build, and grow this fan base to be one of the absolute God first best fan bases it can possibly God first be through our strengths and our abilities, of which God first, blesses us with every day. So forth and so forth. You get the point. So, yeah, I hope more fan bases definitely start doing that, or not. Well, yeah, more fan bases and more owners and more GMs, but I can assure you not enough do. Because if they did, I don't think that a lot of franchises would be absolutely losing for years and years and years and years and years and years the way that they've done and still stay in business. Honestly, that's one of the most amazing things about some of our sports franchises is that it's amazing how many sports franchises have been losing back to back to back to back to back to back years, and yet are still, and are still there. They still have a business. They still have a market. They still have, you get the point, And I think a market will always be there. It's just the business part of it. I think a market will definitely always be there. Just it's just the business part of it when it comes to making the money from that market. And stuff like that. And here's a fine line, another big fine line between women's sports and men's sports. Like, God, honestly, all glory be to God, God bless both, but, and I can assure you, again, I've been trying, again, everybody in Nice, or majority of people in Nice, especially ones that play sports, will tell you I'm literally at almost every game that I can make it to because of how much I love and support the school. I'm at literally almost every game that I can, definitely home games that I can afford to come to. I definitely see the big, the big separation of difference between the boys' sports and the women's sports. I can see that for basketball games, the girls teams are the one. The girls team for basketball is the one that's been Elite Eight bound for the last 3 years, but yet they barely get any support from the rest of the school in terms of people showing up and stuff like that. But the boys team, they've been up and down, rocky, shaky over God knows, I think 3-4 years, something like that. And yet they get a tad bit more, if not a tad bit more, they get a lot more support than the girls do. And their records are not even close at the end of the seasons when it comes to the win-loss percentage. Again, God bless both teams. I know plenty of players, if not the entire team from both teams. But again, I'm just trying to, definitely speak to that demographic of the unequal support of both women's sports and men's sports. And that's why I try, God first, my absolute best to support, support both, but definitely to show the ladies more love and support and encouragement, because a lot of men's sports already get that. And it's like, hey, what about the ladies? Why not, big them up? Why not give them their due support and honest, and stuff like that, honestly. Because, again, I think I've rapped about it in a few songs, or I shot other episodes like this explaining this exact same, thing. Honestly, I really do and really wish a lot more, women's sports would get a lot more love and appreciation than what they do, honestly. Again, I know way too many talented young ladies, definitely from middle school and high school, that deserve their equal opportunity to shine and to grow and to prosper and to build a strong legacy in their sport. I know too many, and they're just absolutely so talented, and it's just like, wow, and I hope to God that, because we obviously, if we definitely compare it with the colleges, we definitely see you getting opportunity. And I've seen so many college games. I've seen so many college games where it's like, softball has a market in college, and if not all the colleges, a lot of them do, especially SEC. I know that for sure. They have a market, so it's so amazing to know that. You have how do you have a strong market with softball in college, but yet, at least from what I've seen in the high school, you don't have as strong of a market. You just don't. And I couldn't fully tell you whether it's because our bleachers are not that big, or just because people don't care. I think it's that people just don't care, because trust me, if you care, you're going to, bring your own chairs, and you're going to sit out there, and you're going to fill those stands, and you're going to make extra room, and etc. and I'm definitely going to be a strong part of, helping equal that whole thing out when it comes to both men's and women's sports. Honestly, I've again been there for 5 years. I've definitely, again, by the way, graduated just recently, by the way, on this past Monday, which was yesterday. Today's Tuesday, and it's 10:16 at night, and all glory be to God, I'm making this video, but you get the point. I've been there, obviously, and I've seen both fields, and I've definitely seen some differentials between dugouts and stuff like, well, not really dugouts, but I've seen it when it comes to, a few features, and I honestly am gonna tell you straight up, I'm gonna be, I want to say I'm gonna be the cash cow towards how do I put it? Yeah, towards evening it out, because I can assure you, the women's, I mean, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think I can't tell which one's bigger, the bleachers for both for I can't fully tell which one's a bit bigger. I think they're both the same size. But the point is, I mean, for both sports, I really want to be the cash cow. But definitely for the women's sports, we're gonna get, And by the way, shout out, God bless to all my niece lady Panthers out there. That definitely listen to what I'm saying, because this is definitely involving your sports and stuff that I'm gonna do to help improve your sports towards hopefully more people attending. Because again, you all are tremendously talented and deserve, that love, that attention, and that respect from the community and so forth and so forth. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before, so much of this stuff that I keep preaching is about community support, but like I said before, a lot of people just don't seem to care, which is, again, a big problem, which, I mean, come on. Why is it such a big problem? I mean, it really goes back to that same phrase over and over and over again. By the way, go listen to NF's song titled "Oh Lord" off of his, off his therapy session album. That's one of my favorite songs off that album. No lies, one of my favorite songs, honestly. And one of the top reasons why it is one of my favorite songs off his therapy session album, because once again, it preaches to the demographic of, I want to say, one-sided faith within a lot of people. A lot of people have absolutely one-sided faith. And that's one of the top, a lot of people have not only one-sided faith, but they do not know what for better and for worse is, but they will be darn straight in a second, or in a split second, quick to be like, yeah, I do, again, you obviously, do say in order to, get married and stuff like that. But the point is, they're quick to say it, but then as soon as things get tough and rough and God knows what, etc., you are quick to file divorce papers. Tell me why. Do you not know what for better and for worse is? Do you not? Do you not understand what for better and for worse is? One of the top things I want people to understand when it comes to the thing of marriage, you're making, number one, a promise to God, and number two, you're making a promise to your spouse. And especially if you have children involved, that's even, and a lot of people are having them out of wedlock anyway, so that's even a more bigger debacle, honestly. But definitely go back to the sport topics here. For all my lady Panthers out there, one of the top things I'm gonna do to improve the softball area that we have, if I can possibly do it, I'm definitely gonna give us bigger bleachers. We're gonna have bigger bleachers, and we're hopefully gonna have how do I put it, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the boys have a locker room that's literally right there, outside, outside right next to the field. So it does question why the softball team have it too. So that's something else I would definitely love to bring about and bring apart. And I mean, again, cost money, cost funding, and I just know that if God blesses me, I'm gonna I obviously off my own hard work and desire to provide these tools to both clubs and etc. I'm gonna definitely be the cash cow for it, because I love these people and I want to give them fair due props and other stuff like that when it comes to God first real stuff. You get the point. So again, 14 minutes into this, thank you all for listening, watching, and subscribing. Like I say, definitely come out to Nice and support the softball, baseball, all of our sport teams. They all put on awesome shows each and every night of which they play. Not to say that we always, end up with the dub at the end of the day, at least on the scoreboard, that is. But again, we are family. That we are family. We are a school family, and hope that tradition definitely Actually, not even hope it will go on and will last even after the death of me. God bless. I love y'all.